please elaborate us more about what all you know about Kirana Hills and how did India call Pakistan nuclear buff in clear-cut way?
Well, Kirana Hills is easy to find on Google Earth, for example, or any other kind of satellite maps. It is a facility that has some 30 to 40 overground constructions. These are massive hangars, purportedly housing an anti-missile garrison, which means each of these hangars is probably containing one of so-called transporter electro launchers. These are huge trucks which are carrying missiles, ballistic missiles. They are parked inside in most of the time, and in the case of action, you drive this truck out, erect the missile, and fire. So that is the overground facilities. Then there are underground facilities as well. On as far as I know, northwestern side of that complex, there are two entrances into underground tunnels. I don't know what are they looking inside, but usually on the basis of construction of plenty of other such facilities around the world, for example, former Yugoslavia or China, North Korea, wherever you want. There are also such facilities, and the presence of two tunnels indicates that the underground facility is in U-shaped, which means you enter through one tunnel and then exit at the end of that tunnel somewhere else. Usually such tunnels also have huge, heavy, dozens of tons heavy concrete and metal doors, which are shutting them to make them, they are closing them, and which are extremely hard to penetrate with conventional weapons. Actually, such facilities are usually hardened to survive a strike by nuclear weapons, a direct hit of a nuclear warhead. So now, early on 10th of May, there is a video appeared showing two detonations exactly at the entrances to this underground complex. Okay, now official New Delhi, a few hours later, said, no, we don't know what is going on over there. We have never heard of Kirana complex. I mean, excuse me. Well, okay, by all respect for the gentleman in question, honorable gentleman in question, I have my doubts that Indian Air Force does not know what is going on in Kirana, or has never heard of underground complex over there. And it could be it's perfectly possible that Pakistanis are growing mushrooms or inside or other vegetables. Here in Austria, we have lots of such caverns left over from the times of the Second World War. And people are using them for tourist purposes or growing mushrooms. Could be the same in Pakistan, but something, deduction is telling me this is an underground storage facility for nuclear weapons, and this is what India has targeted. When that happens, I said, when one party in a conflict is capable of striking such places, then it means that this party is also, especially if it is India, with top commanders who are as responsible, as cautious, as overcautious actually, then that means that they are absolutely sure that the Pakistan can't strike back. And this is, I said, why clear-cut victory? Because Pakistan can't hit back.
One more thing, Pakistan always bluffing around its nuclear capabilities. So, how did India actually manage to call Pakistan nuclear bluff in front of whole world?
Through a very complex, systematic, but also an all-out operation, which means you have this gradual degradation of enemy capability to defend himself. In this case, this enemy is Pakistan. So you first hit on enemy's ground-based air defenses. Simultaneously, you're deploying electronic countermeasures and also own weaponry, which means in this case long-range air-to-air missiles, then long-range air-to-ground missiles, or long-range land attack missiles that are fired from the ships or by ground forces to strike enemy air defenses, to deplete enemy air power, and those to degrade, perhaps even to destroy, in this case, Pakistani capability to defend itself. So through this, when you reach this specific level of destruction or suppression of the enemy air defenses, defensive capability, and this is what apparently has happened late on 9th of May, Pakistanis might have done some maneuvers. I have no specific details in this regard. There are rumors. Might have done some moves, like deploying specific units which are trained for handling and moving nuclear weapons from point A to point B. And India then hit facilities like Kirana Hills. So when you ask how did they call this bluff? Through systematically destroying Pakistani capability to defend itself. And at the same time, which is absolutely important as well, Indian air defense, and then specifically Indian Air Force ground-based air defenses and Indian Army ground-based air defenses, have demonstratively shot down the mass of UAVs and ballistic missiles and rocket artillery coming, which Pakistan was unleashing upon India. And Pakistan is bragging about these airstrikes and not airstrikes, excuse me, missile strikes and UAV strikes to have hit this or that facility and destroyed Brahmos and whatever else. There's no evidence it did. On the contrary, for example, the people who are serving at Adhampur Air Base, they're wondering what is Pakistan talking about because they haven't heard even a single blast anywhere nearby. So this means why Pakistan is claiming to have destroyed Adhampur Air Base. People serving over there are wondering what is Pakistan talking about. Conclusion: evidence is on hand that Pakistani retaliation against Indian punitive strikes on terrorist targets was a failure. It could be that so and so many Pakistani missiles or UAVs came through the Indian air defenses and have caused some damage here or there, but the grand total, these two big waves of UAV strikes, missile strikes have failed, which in turn means India was capable of blocking Pakistani counterstrike while targeting whatever it wanted inside Pakistan. And this is how you call the enemy bluff. This is how you call, how you expose enemy vulnerabilities and achieve a clear-cut victory. Had even more so because, keep in mind the following, by disabling Pakistani ground-based air defenses, by forcing the Pakistani Air Force away from the border, Indian Air Force has bought itself enough freedom of operation to, had New Delhi decided to continue this operation beyond, 17 hours local time on 10th of May, it could have hit whatever targets along the border, along the LOC it wanted to hit. And Pakistan couldn't prevent Indian Air Force from this, which means India could then have delivered a massive blow against the Pakistani ground forces, army, destroyed artillery, destroyed the ground troops, and so on, if New Delhi decided to continue. Fortunately for Pakistan, Islamabad said, now it's better we stop. So it used the hotline to call New Delhi and say, let's talk about ceasefire. Okay, New Delhi, people in New Delhi, the government, the military commanders that are responsible enough, I said again, and I stress this because this is the tradition of the Indian armed forces, is the top generals are conservative in their decision making, very cautious, even overcautious, solidly conservative, and they are not taking any kind of decisions easily. But in this case, they have decided, okay, we have hit Pakistan very hard. We don't want to brag about that. It is not necessary. We don't want to provoke Pakistan into some kind of desperate measures or whatever else. The Pakistanis know how hard we have hit them and where we have hit them. Okay, we are stopping here. That is enough for us.